How's everyone doing? So this is a kind of a follow-on from my Little Princess maple video. Or Acer palmatum, Little Princess. And this is an Acer palmatum going green. This has been on the channel a couple of times now. I believe I got this about 3 years ago now, and it's been 2 years in training. Got it potted up in his net basket, which I kind of realise now for maples may not be the best idea. But nevertheless, it's in there. And this is actually potted in pure Akadama. 2 different grain sizes. I believe it's like 3 to 5 mil on the base, and then 2 to 3 mil on top, just for water retention. And yeah, this is like a clump style, so I actually bought this off of Facebook, I believe. A lady was selling this in an Orange Dream. Was it an Orange Dream? No, it was a Jordan. Yeah, it was a Jordan, which I killed. But the graft on the Jordan was terrible anyway, so wasn't a big deal. But this one I managed to keep alive, so I've struggled with, I said it in the last video as well, I've struggled trying to keep maples kind of small. Most of my trees are like Marmee, Shohin size trees. I've got a couple bigger ones, but just because of the space I've got, I don't really want to grow them too big. But some species just don't do great with that. I feel like the maples just elongate. I don't know how. When I look at other people's maples on, forums or Facebook pages, they all seem to have the smallest nodes I've ever seen in my life. And maybe it's a feeding thing or a watering thing, I don't know. I mean, I'm happy it's healthy, but it is growing a bit too quickly every spring. I haven't actually fertilised this at all yet. This is pre-fertilisation as well, and you can see the kind of nodes it's sending out, so we will see. But yeah, this is just a cutback. I'm just trying to get rid of any structural flaws. Maples sometimes like to send out, where I cut it back in the autumn, sometimes it will send 4 buds from one place, and obviously that's going to thicken in places that I don't want it to thicken. Now, I was actually really quite happy with the root spread and the barrier on this when I repotted it last. I'll try and find the video and put it up quickly here. And the bottom is slowly but surely merging together. It is technically 2 trees, but the roots were so entwined when I first repotted it, I thought, you know what, I'll leave it as it is and have it as a clump style. The overall height of the main leader there does need to come down at some point, but I was waiting for a branch in a good spot to cut back to, and I believe I've got one now, so I'm just going to see how that grows over summer, and then when it comes to a summer prune, I'll probably cut that back then. I'll also probably be defoliating it in summer, trying to get that burst in autumn time with smaller internodes. That'd be a nice touch. But as you can see, the main leader is dead straight there, and I hate that straight section. It offends me. So I will be cutting that back soon. And apart from structural issues, what I'm also trying to do here is just cut out any kind of growth that I'm not wanting, because the tree's just going to keep on putting energy into those branches instead of the branches I want it to put energy into. And it's a 50-50 thing, right? I'm not going to fight the tree at every corner just to get what I want. But at the same time, it's also sending out shoots everywhere all at once, and some of them just aren't going to be effective at all. As for fronts for this tree, I've never quite been sure on the front, hence why I put it in a circular pot. I think it has many fronts, to be honest, because it's that group planting style, there's different trunk lines you can approach, and there's one side of the tree where the nabari looks better from. There's another side of the tree where the branching looks better, so I'm not too sure. When I come to actually pot it down eventually, I'll look into that. But essentially it's going to stay in a growing container like this. I will repot it next year just to sort the roots out, but it's going to stay in one of these pots for a good couple of years until that base merges together, and until I've got the thickness that I want from that. There's no point in putting it into a bonsai pot too early, because one thing with a bonsai container, you won't really get the trunk to thicken up at all. You can still do branches, and it's good for that kind of growth, but in terms of the trunk itself, it'd take decades to get what you can get out of a growing container in a couple of years. Now what you can see at the base here is obviously some aging effect going on, which is what I'm after really. I'm not actually after the kind of green trunks. I like an acer to have that grey kind of bark throughout, and then the branches can be green from there. It just gives it more age. And again, that does happen with time. I do think that where I'm growing my trees is a bit of a problem for acers, especially. They don't really like too much wind, and they don't like too much sun. And where my space is so small, it's not like I have kind of shade netting over some trees, and then, you know, I don't really have that kind of space. They're all kind of bundled up together. I've had to be a bit strategic, and my maples are kind of growing up against a wall, so it kind of defends from the wind a little bit, and the sun. After about 3 o'clock, they're in the shade. But obviously if you've got a big enough garden, you can kind of have your trees wherever you want them. And then just for fun here, I'm just going to be planting up some of these cuttings. I'm not sure what they'll do. I mean, it's spring, it probably isn't the right time to take cuttings, they're all quite fresh. But I just thought, why not? The cuttings are there, I'll only bin them anyway. This is how you end up with a lot of trees, to be honest, because it's usually the ones that you think that won't make it that do. Now some people seem to strike cuttings very easy from acers. I've actually never had an acer grow from a cutting. My Shishigashira I once had, I've got another one now, but the original one I had, I did do an air layer on that. And that survived for about 4 months. I gave it to a friend, Michelle. But she said that died off as well. So, yeah, maples are one of them species that have kind of... they kind of elude me. I don't know why. I think sometimes you know, different people find different things easier, right? And I think a lot of people struggle with junipers and pines. I actually find them easy to grow. My junipers just don't stop growing. I don't even think I've ever had one die on me. But broadleaf deciduous, they're my struggle for some reason. It's possibly just where I've got them in the garden. You know, with the sunlight they get. And this is probably why the pines and junipers do really well, because they absolutely love sunlight. Larches as well. Whereas maples and that prefer a bit more shade. And I haven't really got much shade, so